This is an instructional video on solving equations. Number 1, simplify the expression 2 and in parentheses x minus 4. When you have parentheses, we're going to solve the distributive property, meaning we are multiplying both numbers by the parentheses. So 2 and x together would give us 2x. 2 times the term negative 4 gives us negative 8. 2x minus 8 is our final answer. Number 2, simplify the expression negative 3 in parentheses x minus 1 plus 4x. We start with the distributive property, meaning we multiply both numbers in our parentheses. Negative 3 and x give us negative 3x. Negative 3 and negative 1, two negatives make a positive 3. And the plus 4x stays the same as it is not part of the parentheses. We then combine our like terms, negative 3x and positive 4x, which would end up with a positive 1x. Again, the plus 3 stays the same as it is not part of our like terms. Number 3, solve the equation 5x equals 100. So we want to combine our like terms 5 and 100, but they're on opposite sides from each other. So we move the number 5 away from the variable x. 5 and x side by side means multiply. So we're going to do the opposite operation, which is division, because the numbers are on opposite sides of the equal sign. So we divide 100 divided by 5, which gives an answer of 20. X equals 20 is our final answer. Number 4, solve the equation x over 3 minus 1 equals 20. We start by combining our like terms. The negative 1 and 20 are on opposite sides, so we do the opposite operation. Instead of a minus 1, we do a plus 1. 20 plus 1 gives us 21. The x over 3 stays the same as it was not part of our like terms that we solved. Our next pair of like terms are 3 and 21. Instead of dividing by 3, we do the opposite because 3 and 21 are on opposite sides, and we multiply by 3. 21 times 3 is 63. X equals 63 is our final answer. Number 5, simplify the expression negative 8 and in parentheses negative 3x plus 4. We start by distributing our negative 8 to both numbers in the parentheses. Negative 8 and negative 3, two negatives give us a positive 24x. Negative 8 and 4 give us a negative 32. Number 6 says to distribute on both sides. So we start by distributing our 6 to both numbers in the parentheses. 2 and 6 would give us a 12x. 6 and negative 12 would end up giving us a negative 72. On the other side, we distribute and multiply the negative 5 by both numbers in the parentheses. Negative 5 and 9 is negative 45x. Negative 5 and negative 1, two negatives, would give us a positive 5. This problem only asked us to distribute, so we don't have to continue solving the rest of the problem. Number 7, solve the equation 22 equals negative 6 plus x. When we combine our like terms, 22 and negative 6 are on opposite sides, so we do the opposite operation. We take the negative 6 away from the variable x. A negative 6 changes to the opposite. We make it a positive 6. 22 and positive 6 give us an answer of 28. X equals 28 is our final solution. Number 8, solve the equation negative 7 and in parentheses x plus 6 equals negative 14. We start with our parentheses using the distributive property. We multiply negative 7 and 6 and negative 7 and x. Negative 7 and x give us negative 7x. Negative 7 and 6 give us negative 42. The equals negative 14 stays the same as it was not part of the parentheses. When we go to combine our like terms, negative 42 and negative 14 are on opposite sides, so we do the opposite operation. We move the negative 42 away from the variable, and we change it into the opposite, which is a positive 42. The negative 7x is going to stay the same, and When we add negative 14 plus 42, we end up at positive 28. Our last step, we're going to take our negative 7 and again move the number away from the variable x. The 7 and the x side by side means multiply, so again we would do the opposite operation. We would divide by the negative 7. 28 divided by the negative 7 would give us an answer of negative 4. Number 9, simplify the expression 4x plus 24y minus 15 minus 12x plus y. So combining like terms, we can combine the 4x and the minus 12x. 4 and negative 12 would give us an answer of negative 8, so it would be a negative 8x. We can also combine the numbers of positive 24y and positive y. We know that this would be a positive 1y. Positive 24 and positive 1 would give us a positive 25y. And then the minus 15 would stay the same as it has no other like terms to combine. Number 10, simplify the expression negative 3 in parentheses 7x minus 4 plus x minus 3. We start by distributing our parentheses and we multiply the negative 3 with the 7 to get negative 21x. We also multiply the negative 3 and the negative 4. Two negatives make a positive 12. The plus x and the minus 3 stay the same as they were not part of the parentheses. Our next step is to combine our like terms. We combine the negative 21x with the positive x. Again, we know that this is a positive 1. Negative 21 and positive 1 combine to give us a negative 20x. We can also combine the constant values, positive 12 and negative 3. 12 and 3 combine together to give us positive 9. Number 11, solve the equation 55 equals 13 plus 6x. We start by combining our like terms. 55 and 13 are on opposite sides, so we do the opposite operation. Instead of 13, we do the opposite. We would do a minus 13, and we move that number away from that variable x. 55 minus 13 would give us an answer of 42. We bring down the 6 and the variable x. Again, we would move the 6 away from the variable x, doing the opposite operation. 6 and x side by side means multiply. We would do the opposite. We would divide. 42 divided by 6 would give us a final answer of 7. Number 12, solve the equation negative x over 5 plus 18 equals negative 14. So we start by combining our like terms. Positive 18 and negative 14 are on opposite sides, so we do the opposite operation. Instead of a plus 18, we move it away from the variable, making it a minus 18. Negative 14 minus 18 gives us an answer of negative 32. The negative x over 5 stays the same. Again, combining like terms, we move the 5 away from the variable x. The fraction bar means divide, so we do the opposite. We would multiply by 5. Negative 32 times 5 gives us an answer of negative 160. And then our last step is to divide. We divide by a negative 1 because that is the value in front of the x, negative 1. And we want the variable to be completely isolated. So we divide by the negative 1 value, and two negatives would end up with a positive 160. Number 13, simplify the expression x plus 20 minus 14x plus 1. We know that this is an understood 1x in the front, and so that 1x can combine with the negative 14x to make negative 13x. We can also combine the positive 20 and the positive 1 to make positive 21. Number 14, simplify an expression for the area of a rectangle shown. So we know that area would be length times width. So we're going to multiply the 12 by the width value 4x minus 6. So we multiply and distribute our values 12 to both numbers in the parentheses. 12 and 4 would give us an answer of 48x. 12 and 6 would give us an answer of negative 72. Number 15, we start by combining our like terms. Negative 5 over 6x and 10 are on opposite sides, so we do the opposite operation. The fraction 5 over 6 and the x are written side by side, which means that we are multiplying. So the opposite operation would be to divide. We divide the negative 10 by the fraction negative 5 over 6. When you divide your values, you end up with an answer of x equals negative 12. Number 16, solve the equation 3 over 4x plus 10 equals 100. We start by combining our like terms. Positive 10 and positive 100 are on opposite sides, so we do the opposite operation. We move the value of 10 away from the variable x, making the positive 10 into a negative 10. We keep the 3/4 x the same, bringing that straight down. 100 minus 10 would give us 90. Our next step is to again isolate the variable by dividing. The 3/4 x together means multiply. We do the opposite operation, which is division. 90 divided by the fraction 3/4 is going to give us an answer of 120. Number 17, simplify the expression. 1.6w minus 1.2w plus 3.5 plus 4.7w. We can combine all of the w variables together, and we would combine them into a positive 1.6 plus a negative 1.2 and a positive 4.7, which would give us an answer of 5.1. The value of 3.5 would stay the same as it is not part of the w variable. Number 18, simplify an expression for the area of the rectangle. Again, we know that area is length times width, so we're going to multiply the 8 by the width value, 3/4 x plus 5. When we are multiplying, we distribute our value to both numbers in the parentheses. 8 times the fraction 3/4 would give us an answer of 6x, and 8 times 5 would give us 40. Number 19, solve the equation 7 over 6y equals 28. To combine our like terms, we do the opposite operation. 7 over 6 and y written side by side means multiply, so our opposite operation would be to divide. We're going to divide by the fraction 7 over 6. 28 divided by 7 over 6 gives us a final answer of x equals 24. For number 20, we have the equation 1/4 x minus 52 equals negative 27. To start combining our like terms, 52 and 27 are on opposite sides of the equal sign, so we do the opposite operation. We move the 52 away from the variable x, changing the minus 52 into the opposite plus 52. Negative 27 plus 52 gives us an answer of positive 25. The 1/4 x stays the same as it was not part of our like terms yet. Our next pair of like terms are the 1/4 and the 25, but again, they are on opposite sides. The 1/4 x written side by side means multiply, so when we do the opposite operation, we would divide our values. 25 divided by the value 1/4 gives us an answer of 100.